the 19th century, all across the United States, random settlements popped up along the American landscape as folks migrated west. Towns were especially so post-Civil War, when the country wasn't embroiled by conflict and could focus more on westward expansion. No such town defines as latter settlement colony, part of the Wild West war, was built and established entirely by African Americans during the Reconstruction period. To understand more of its longevity and survival test of time, as well as to shine light onto one of the most fascinating bits of American history, here is a closer look.
You a genius. I ain't gonna lie. You're gonna go down like Elijah Muhammad or Malcolm X with this. You're gonna go down in history with this. That's what it's got. Yeah, but girl, you different. I need to think of that. I mean, bro, this is genius. Like, I don't just say stuff just to be saying. Like, I swear to God, bro, you are really on something to come up with this. I don't know how you came up with it. In the name of my ancestors, peace forever and always. Welcome to another edition of what we call the Reality Step on Earth Internet Ministry. I'm the gatekeeper or the host of this program, known here on social media. Wherever you may find me, I am known as the mighty Angel Snub Nub 7. I am your soul brother, number one. Well, we have arrived at that time of the year again, whereas on this platform, we give our main message of the year, and that main message falls under what we call Soul Liberation Day. What is Soul Liberation Day? For those of you who are unfamiliar with this holiday that we have chosen to celebrate. Soul Liberation Day is simply celebrating ourselves as individuals, the things that we have overcome this year in our personal lives, throughout our lives, and giving ourselves a pat on the back. There's nothing wrong with celebrating yourself, like celebrating your birthday, except this is celebrating our being able to overcome the hardships, obstacles in our lives. The job that we wanted, we finally got. The woman or the man that we've been chasing, we finally got them. Finally bought that new car. We overcome a sickness. Whatever it is in our lives that we have overcome. Mine was, and I decided to have this day on December the 7th because in my own personal life, I liberated myself from incarceration of over 10 years. So I decided to have Soul Liberation Day on this day of my personal liberation. That we had the strength to overcome something in our personal lives. And then hopefully one day, we as a people, the descendants of slaves born in America, we as a people, these who are the descendants of those who suffered the black codes, those who suffered Jim Crow, one day as a people, we'll be able to choose our identity ourselves. One day as a people, we will be able to come on Soul Liberation Day and we will declare ourselves liberated from all those things that kept us oppressed, all those things that held us back, so that we can reach our highest potential.
Okay, family. This is your brother, Taalib. I'm coming to you live, and I would like to thank our brother Angel Snup 7 for allowing me on this platform of the second version of Soul Liberation Day to speak. And I'm going to just go right on in. But our family, before I finish this little say, before I go further, in a couple of minutes, I'm going to have to go do something real quick. Because I was in the middle of something. And I'll let the brother hold us down for a few seconds. Then I'll be right back in. So I just want y'all to know. But for a minute, I'm going to definitely be on here cooking as far as, concerning us as soul black people, whether we want to identify as African Americans, so-called Negroes, Israelites, Muslims, Christians, so have you, or foundational black Americans. And by the way, as I'm going to move in on this situation, I wanted to say that part of this for me, and out of respect for brother Angel Snup 7, I'm gonna dedicate this part of this, or what I'm talking about, to the foundational Black America community.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and because lately on social media, I have been seeing some things that they're trying to do as far as bringing it to them black immigrants, or to even those Hispanic immigrants who want to claim our hip hop culture, which was started by foundational Black Americans, by the way, which y'all say, which was actually started by soul people.
Mm-hmm.
But however, they are all over social media, and I have to applaud these brothers for standing up, because we've had so many people, not to include the Caucasian themselves, as far as credit and what we've even invented. And I think, that by right, since they chose to go that route to defend, the facts behind so black foundational Americans starting hip hop, and which is not the other way around, like people, as some of your favorite celebrities you might know about, Busta Rhymes and Fat Joe, claim differently. Well, actually, they're being ostracized in the hip hop community. Fat Joe just recently announced that he's stepping down for being the host on the BET Awards show. Now, BET was originally founded and started by a soul foundational Black American by the name of Bob Johnson. And so, although Caucasians own it now, but it was still started by those of you that refer to us as foundational Black Americans. So, and also Busta Rhymes monetarily has been, he has been ostracized monetarily for just even jumping on Fat Joe's bandwagon, telling them lies, and not even wanting to acknowledge soul Black Americans for being the creators of this music art form. And for so long we've had things like rock and roll, which we invented, soul music, blues music, and you name it. And everybody else want to take credit for it without acknowledging our, creativity of these musical art forms. And so finally, what I'm seeing is that soul people are standing up against this situation. And they are standing up by coming together on a common collective note. Now, I just thought about something. If we could use up our energy so much to come together on something like that, why we can't do the same thing for Operation Exodus Mississippi? As far as taking control of a state or even a couple of states, which we can create a settlement for ourselves that will protect us, and that will actually, where we could use more leverage to make life more better for us as a group of people in this country. See, and not undermining what these brothers are doing, with that situation with Fat Joe, who claimed that Hispanics started hip hop first. People from the Caribbean, like Busta Rhymes said, were the ones that innovatively started hip hop, which is a lie. And even those from among those groups of people who come from way back in the 70s, you know, who was immersed within that culture, admitted that so Black Americans started that. But now you got people like Busta Rhymes and Fat Joe who's made millions upon millions off of this creation of Black Americans and don't even want to give us credit. And I think that by any means, people like them should be shut out. You know, they should be completely cut off. Should no soul Black person anywhere in this nation buy their music. Simple as that. And so, you know, I'm very, even though that's just small tiddly bit stuff, when you want to talk about us standing up for something at least and not just falling for anything, but if we really want to stand up for something, let's stand up, like I say, by taking control of a state, control of the politics of a state like Mississippi, where you have the highest concentrated Black population in the nation as far as the state go. Within these 50 states of the United States of America. And I believe strongly that we can do it. This is why I've actually, you know, stuck around on this platform with our brother Angel Snuck 7 for this long. Because I still got confidence that we can make something like that happen. But it's got to take unity. It's got to take us putting our differences to the side and coming together on a common collective basis cause to make this happen. Because as long as we don't have no protection around us, we're going to keep getting the same thing like I repeatedly said on other live streams in the past. You know, we're going to keep on getting mass incarceration, discrimination on the job, discrimination in housing. You know, we're going to still be confronted with police brutality and all this other good stuff, you know, that's still constantly happening to us as so Black Americans in this nation every day. So, and you know, I want to also go into also too saying that in the midst of all this controversy going on with this hip hop stuff, I say periodly, we should stop letting these other unquote Black and brown groups of people in this country immerse themselves not only into our culture but also into our endeavors as far as our struggle. Because as of right now, as it stands, they benefit more off of our ancestors' civil rights struggle than we do.
That's right.
You know, and I see even a bunch of ungrateful ones every day that I come across in the streets or wherever I may be, you know, and they're ungrateful. They don't respect us. And personally, me just as an individual, I don't respect them. Because I feel like this. If you was coward enough to run from your own troubles and whatever you was going through in your own country, just to come over here to America to benefit off of our provisions that's supposed to be intended for us, is so black Americans, then you know, I just can't respect that. You always talk about how great your countries is,
Right.
how great your cultures is. Well, why did you run from that? Why did you take risks coming to America? You even took risks going across the Mediterranean Sea to get to Europe. Although that's where your colonizers are, you know, but you shouldn't be coming over here like that, you know, and then trying to look down on us while you eating and living off our culture and off our ancestor struggle. And that's the same thing that them brothers is in social media, pushing back at people like Fat Joe and Busta Rhymes for. You know, you get over here, you want to eat off our culture, you want to eat off our people's struggle, you know, and then don't even give us credit for even being the reason why you was even allowed in this country.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I could go in all day about that. They still don't like them Haitians coming over here. They were back in the 80s, and I lived in Miami, Florida for a short while. I used to watch how they handled them Haitians coming over here back in the late 80s. While them Cubans, them pale-skinned Cubans was coming over here, they was giving them anything they want. It was even at a certain point where them Haitians would leave and come over here, and they'll turn them boats, the makeshift boats that they came in, they'll turn them right back around.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but when you was begging and pleading for those among so black American leadership to help you to get in this country without any pushback coming from this government, then you threw it right back in our face. You know? So I can't respect that. That go for those in the Caribbean and on the continent of Africa. I can't respect that. And those over here right now, like somebody say that's buck dancing for this racist named Fat Joe, who happens to be a pale, lighter skinned complexion Puerto Rican, you know, I can't respect that. And I'm talking about even some of those, you know, from amongst us in the hip hop community that just co-sign for this guy. Like, when is you gonna, like somebody say, grow some nuts and stand up thing? So, and you know, like someone even said recently, that, you know, eventually we're gonna have to stand up firmly and deal with these Caucasians, even after over 400 years of oppression under them in this nation. But see, it's more, like they said, it is more easier to deal with those black immigrants because it is 40-some million more of us than them. See? And that do kind of make sense. You know, but I want to say this as well, that you know, we should stop letting these people be immersed in our culture. And as far as us taking control of a state like Mississippi, we could definitely put the brakes on that. We have more power and leverage. at our disposal to put the brakes on stuff like that. Because these people would never let us come to places like Jamaica, the Dominican Republic, or Puerto Rico, or the Barbados, or over to Nigeria or Ghana, or South Africa, or the Congo Republic, and just allow us to immerse ourselves in their culture and eat off of whatever they got. You see what they doing over there now to those soul black Americans who travel to places like Ghana, and I believe that in the Gambia as well, where they've actually killed soul black Americans over there who was in the process of attempting to purchase land. See, we see, we, they even, and we let them get away with using racial epithets against us, but let us call them out their name and see what type of response we get. That we get from them, you see? So I mean, it's like we have to, be very mindful of this situation that we dealing with, and hey, I'm gonna tell you straight up, I did not vote for Donald Trump, honestly, but since he won, and one of his very first agenda on the radar is to deport as many of these immigrants as he can. And I'm not biased towards immigrants actually, but I'm not pro-immigrant neither, because of what I just talked about on this very live stream. And they are, I'm gonna say this. I know a lot of people use that narrative from what Donald Trump said when he said the immigrants is taking away black jobs, right? And most of the people would look at that, even in the pro-conscious community, as far as picking vegetables and fruit out the field, right? But see, here's the thing with that. Even Donald Trump himself knows that the average so-called black foundational American is not going to stoop to that level if they don't got to, unless they force us to. But if we ain't got to, we ain't gonna stoop to that level. So, because we did that enough over 300, our people did that enough over 300 years, picking cotton, out in the fields picking rice and sugar cane and all that kind of stuff, So we ain't finna go back to that. Just due to the historic situation behind that. We're not gonna go back to that if we ain't got to, okay? But in this modern time, you have to look at it like this, family. Let's just say he's actually saying whatever jobs we got that don't have nothing to do with agriculture, these immigrants is coming in taking. And when you look at it from that context, you know what I'm saying? Then you could say to yourselves, in that manner, he may have a point, because he does. When he say that the immigrants is taking away black jobs, I mean, here, like I say, They get benefits that we should get, but we don't get it. We got to go through all hoops and bounds just to get the bare minimum or whatever we get. While they come off these planes and boats, ain't got no green card to work in the country, can't legally vote in this country, but they get free EBT. Them debit cards, hundreds of dollars a month for food, free money for housing. You see, all that. Why you got all these homeless soul brothers and sisters on the streets in these many cities across America. And they getting first dibs on everything once they get here. So, hey, if Trump is successful in what he's talking about doing far as deporting as many as these people, as they say they are, well, I'm not going to lose no teardrop over it. Not one. I also have been noticing throughout social media that blacks, so black Americans I'm talking about, is waking up to not even paying attention to their pleas, because now as you look around on social media, and even if you out in the streets, you could see that a lot of these black and brown people, I don't care if they from Afghanistan, Iraq, Iran, India, some of these people that's known to hate so black Americans even the most. These other different groups of people from Jamaica, the Dominican Republic, and so forth and on, from Nigeria, from Uganda, from the Congo Republic, from South Africa, and wherever else they come from in the continent. If you notice, they trying to cozy up to soul black Americans. And this has been going on since Trump got elected this time. You see? So, you gotta wake up. And they are waking up. And they telling these immigrants, don't come looking at us. Don't come looking for our help. We tried to tell you for years how things was in America, for non-Europeans. But you wouldn't listen to us. If anything, you used your position to help them folks keep their foot on our neck. And like somebody always told me, the first thing that these immigrants learn when they get to this country is the nigger word. That's the first thing they learn. The Italians, the Irish, who came over here back in the early part of the 20th century, all these immigrants. And they used to be the niggers or the niggers here in America. I'm talking about Irish and Italians. And they mostly considered as Europeans because of the region that they're from over there on that continent in Europe. But the thing was, with this establishment over there, they made a concession deal with them. They said, look, if you don't want to be the nigger, you better help us keep these niggas in line. Talking about us. And so black Americans, you say you do the research, go look it up. Italians was once considered niggers. Jews was once considered the niggers in America.
That's right.
Irish people was once considered the niggers in America. Yeah. And they could easily be placed back in that position if they don't cooperate with the powers that be here in this country of the United States of America. They can easily become that. Why you think they allowed the Italians and the mafia to get away with so much before they finally started disbanding them big time? After they was locking away people like John Gotti and them. Why you think they let them get away with so much mayhem in this country? Even turned it and looked the other way. It was because they was helping them to keep us as sole black Americans in our place. You see? Long as they was keeping us as the so-called niggas in our place, they didn't have no problem with the Italian mafia doing what they was doing. You see? So, that's what goes for these other groups. But see, what Trump is doing, and I mean, we know Trump ain't perfect. We know what he about. But here's the thing. He's going to break all that up if he can. He said on his first day of inauguration going into the White House, they're about to start making their moves on these immigrants. and even talking about deporting some of these immigrants that may be legal. You know, yeah. So I mean, you know, I mean, and see that there, my friends, family, my fellow soul black Americans, my fellow soul foundational black Americans, I must tell you this, that this is a good time for us to really start mobilizing, to really start coming together like like-minded ones, to carve out a better future and a better situation for us as a people here in this nation, which like I say from this platform, starts with us working toward taking control of a state, starting with Mississippi, and then on forward to taking control of states like Alabama, Georgia, you know, South Carolina, and the list goes on. You see what I'm saying? Taking control of a state like North Carolina. And our ancestors tried this. We've had movements prior to this idea we proposed. That was tried by our ancestors, but it was during the time when our ancestors was more restricted because of them old Jim Crow laws, you know, and stuff like that. Segregation laws and stuff, you know. The KKK terrorizing our people throughout the South, right, which prevented them from actually seceding in that manner, you know. But we have a much more better chance than they did today in the 21st century as of 2025 to come together to make this work. So I just want to stop for a second and go do something real fast, and I'll be right back at you, and I'll let our brother hold us down, even though he is the host and I'm the keynote speaker. But I'm gonna let him hold us down because, I mean, lives beside this social media, you know, John, you know, but I'll be right back. All right, brother, you can hold it down for a few seconds.
Somebody said,
I'll be right back.
That when people show you who they are, believe them.
I'm still having a problem with that because I'm naive and I want to be a brother to my brother and a brother to my sisters, but there are those, because they are brainwashed by this stuff, unless you bow down and submit to what they want, they don't want nothing to do with you, which that's fine. But see, you was a liar in the beginning. This was a lesson that Brother Malcolm learned the hard way. It took Brother Malcolm, as intelligent as he was, it took Brother Malcolm X 12 years to understand that the Nation of Islam was not his friend. And he should have began, I'm pretty sure, see, woo! Sometimes we see things and we ignore it. I'm guilty. I'm guilty. We see things early and we ignore it. I'm very sure out of the 12 years before the Nation of Islam murdered that man, I am sure that he saw something was wrong, but he ignored it. And some of us think that it's unbelievable. I know back in 2009, I began to realize that this pro-black stuff is not a benefit to the soul community. I began to see that this pro-black stuff was an enemy, and it's still an enemy. All this blackity black and religious stuff, your Kemen and your Nuwabian and your Israelites, all that stuff is detrimental to us. None of it is good. Your Moors, and the list goes on, all this stuff. Ain't none of it no good for you. It has proven itself. Some of it has been around almost 100 years. What has it done for you? It has done nothing for us. That's not my fault. You can get angry all that you want to, make up all kinds of excuses. Something in that is wrong. And what is wrong is that what produced it? The white man produced it. If it wasn't for racism, if it wasn't for the white man, all this stuff would not exist. All of it was born and it came from racism. It's the offspring of racism, and you embrace it because black is good now. But where did black come from? Black came from the racists. There was nobody calling themselves these things until the racists put a label and an identity on it. And you think it's better for you. It's poison. The only thing happened, they put chocolate over it. Chocolate covered racism.
I'm back. Okay. Brother Angel Snup.
Yeah.
I see you got that little glitch you speaking on Soul Liberation Day. Okay, I was all that almost threw me off, but I see what you're doing, so I ain't gonna mind that. But anyway, and also too, for those of you who might not think I don't show my face, let me show my face right now. You know. So can you see my face, brother?
Hold on a second.
I want everybody to see. Yeah. Okay. All righty.
Hold on a second.
Well, once again, okay. All right. Once again, I'm back at y'all live. I just had to, do something real quick. But I just want to get done, going in on what I have to say regarding, leaving, taking from what the brother had to say on the soul liberation. And so I just wanted to further carry out this version of it. And back at what I was saying, the immigrants right now, they're cozy enough up to us, trying to get our support because of what this incoming president is talking about doing to them. And I'm gonna say this one more time as a warning: the fellow soul Black Americans, do not get involved in that. Do not, because they also saying that if you harbor immigrants while ISIS is coming out looking for them, you going to jail, point blank. You gonna get prosecuted. So you don't want to be a part of that situation, no way. They already, got they iron foot on our chest as enough as it is. We don't need to get involved in that, period. Mm-hmm. Them folks ain't came over here and showed us that type of love by getting involved in our struggle, besides taking from it. They ain't tried to put nothing back into the culture of our struggle in this nation. They ain't tried to, unite in any kind of way with us. The governments from their country haven't, tried to reach out to the Black leaders over here to tell them, look, we know what's going on in America. We know y'all being oppressed over there by this racist. We got the same common enemy. Come on into our country. Not like Ghana, promising you citizenship. You get over there, it might take years for you to even get citizenship, especially if you ain't a Rita Marley, who's the wife of the late reggae legend singer Bob Marley. If you ain't famous like her or Stevie Wonder, who just recently got citizenship in Ghana, you ain't got nothing coming. And that's just point blank. You ain't got nothing coming. You just one of them old so-called American Negroes over there trying to do the best you can to navigate with what you got. Unless they try to take it from you over there, which we've heard about so many times with soul brothers and sisters who travel to the continent, getting scammed, getting their houses broke into, even losing their life and all kind of stuff. You see what I'm saying? So, and you definitely don't really want to go to these islands, poor countries like Jamaica. What's there? And I know you don't want to go to Haiti, especially with the shape that Haiti is in right now at this time, and you don't want to go to them type of places, If you ain't got that American dollar, you gonna really see their reaction towards you. So these different Black groups who come over here to this country, they haven't done nothing to as far as uniting or on any type of solidarity level as far as helping us to deal with our situation here in this nation. So that's why I'm saying to you, and I'm talking about even those brown immigrants like the Mexicans and the other people from Latin America, that's also gonna be hunted down. Especially if they're over here illegally, and don't get involved in that. Do not get involved in that. I'm gonna repeat it again. Don't get yourself involved in that, because you will be prosecuted to the fullest of the extent by the United States government. They not playing. They done already put the memo out. The guy that he got working under him, I think his name is Holman. He's supposed to be I forget his position in Trump's cabinet, but he handles that immigration. He's put in there to handle that immigration stuff. But he done already said that if you harbor any immigrants, you gonna be prosecuted. So don't get involved in that. If they come to you, walk away. Do whatever you gotta do. Be like, hey, I understand them, but I'm sorry, I can't help you. Whatever you got to do. Because they ain't had that, they ain't got that type of energy for us. Whenever we look for them to help us, they was just like everybody else. Feeding off of us, and all that kind of stuff. So we need to have that same exact energy for them right now. And like I said, while they at it, doing what they doing with them people, we need to be doing what we should have been doing a long time ago. And that's liberating ourselves for once and for all from under this racist caste system here in America. So that's what's happening, and everybody else has more understanding and common sense beside the so-called American Negro, because we want to let everybody immerse with us. We want to be so integrated with everybody. That ain't simply how things go. You go over there to the continent. Go to all them 54 nations on the continent of Africa and see if they think that way. Just within their country, within them different 54 countries over there, they got different tribes over there that's been warm for a long time, speaking thousands of different languages just in one country alone. You see? And then you go and you see the same thing in the other countries over there on the continent. They ain't got that kind of love for each other. So don't think that they gonna have that type of love for you. So brothers and sisters, because they not. And they've shown it. They've shown their hand in that way since they've been over here in America. And most of you should have been seeing that. Most of our black leadership over here should have been seeing that. Why them groups like the Haitians was begging them to ask the United States government to let them stay in this country without them getting deported. You see? So I mean, hey, we got to it's time for us to snap up out our own nigga bag and start uniting, especially to those of you in the so-called pro-black conscious community that always talk about unity come first. I don't hear none of y'all on social media. Too many of y'all talking about what's going on with this immigration thing. The only people I've heard speaking about this is brother Saru Seti. Who else? The Black First Authority. Ain't that what they call them? Brother Angel Snup Snup on that platform.
Jason Block.
What? Huh?
What you said, Jason Block?
Yeah, the Black Authority, Black First Authority.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Them the only platforms on social media in Black YouTube land that I've actually heard about. And you know, I'm sure Roland Martin has said something to some effect about that, but it's mainly you know, and from my understanding, he has Caribbean ancestry in his bloodline from Haiti.
Mm-hmm.
From what I understand, I don't know if it's a fact or not, but from what I understand, I think he possibly does. So, you know, he's pro-immigrant when it comes to all that, you know. But the Black First Authority and Saru City, you know, they basically don't. They've shown in their own way that they don't care what happened to them folks. And why should they? And why should the rest of us care? You know, it's just that simple. I have to deal with them all the time on this little funky job I got. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I have to come across them on the streets. You know, they don't like us. You know, and to be honest with you, I don't like their ass either. You know, and like I said before, they come over here, they feel so entitled, don't have no respect for those like us. Like someone recently said, once again, that before the civil rights movement, which actually a law was passed during around that time, as far as immigrants being concerned, or citizenship being concerned, rather to say, that was directly, you know, targeted for us along the lines of those civil rights legislations. You see, because you remember it was a time they didn't even legally look at us as citizens in this country. All they saw us as is 3/5 of a human. You see? So through that angle, that's how a lot of them black and brown immigrants was able to start more easily coming to this country because of that. You see? And like I said before, they've been mushing it in our face ever since, family. You know, and I must tell you, I'm not against all immigrants, because I've had, you know, associations with different immigrants, you know, over my years of living, you know, and I'm talking about black and brown immigrants, or people that's not of foundational black American descent, you know. But I know the fake ones when I see them too, you know. And so it is what it is, you know. And I also say that they you know, they come over here, they take and send some of that money back to the countries they come from, so they people over there can eat off of it. When that money, and Donald Trump even talked about that too, how all them billions of dollars is leaving out of this country because of that. So that's what I heard Donald Trump actually talking about that. So, you know, hey, you know, it's going to be well, I'm going to just say it's allegedly, because I didn't hear him myself say it, but it's allegedly that he also based his policies that he's already putting in place before he even get into the White House again, that is one of the reasons why he gonna deport these immigrants, because they are the reason why so much money is leaving out the United States. And I would say that makes a lot of sense, because why you got people coming over here taking from this country and ain't putting nothing back into this country, just like they come over here and take from us, so foundational Black Americans, and don't put nothing back into the pot. You see? So that's why I'm glad that brothers in social media, soul brothers in social media, is holding people like Busta Rhymes, who's a Jamaican out of New York, and Fat Joe, who's a Puerto Rican out of New York, accountable. And they need to be held accountable. You come over here, you disrespect Black American culture, talk about us like a dog, even do like the racists do, call us a nigga. You see? But you don't want us calling you the spick word, which is a racial epithet toward Hispanics. You don't want us calling you any other words that's a racial epithet toward those of you from the Caribbean. You see? But you just disregard our feelings on how we feel as far as what you said about us. So yes, I'm glad that them two is being held accountable. And that's also putting up a red flag to the rest of those who's from those cultures, among those from the Caribbean and Puerto Rico, which is a part of the Caribbean, except that it's a territory of the U.S. But it's putting a red flag up for them to let them know if they want to try the same thing, they're going to get the same results. So these two individuals who I just mentioned is being made a big example of. And it's been time for this to happen. And also on any political scale level, when they help these racists step on our necks, or even in law enforcement, these same immigrant people from different cultures that's not of us, who's in that field of work, need to be held accountable. And it's just that simple. And most of them get into politics to help their own people. They don't get into politics to help us. Everybody think when they vote for them, it's about the black and brown kumbaya situation. It's not nothing like that. Especially once they get in there. Just look at your own Black American politicians do. So what make you think these Hispanic politicians or these other different Caribbean type of folks that get in American politics feel about you? You see? So I mean, it's like, man, we got to understand that this is the reason why it's so important for us to come together, so Black Americans to take control of a couple of these states. Because of the way things is going in this nation. We should have been prepared for this moment, even when Trump got elected again. We don't know what's about to happen. This guy talking, this guy, even though I agree with him on some points, but this guy's talking silly, talking about annexing Greenland from Denmark, which would be a direct conflict of interest with the allies of the United States, which is NATO. All them different other countries are NATO. And Denmark is a part of NATO. See, and then he even talking about taking Canada as the 51st state. And all this craziness. Talking about taking back over the Panama Canal, which the United States handed over to Panama back in 1999. with the help of this former president that just passed away. May he rest in peace, Jimmy Carter, you know? So, I mean, man, come on, man, wake up. We got to do something for ourselves. We can't wait on nobody. That's why people were so frustrated at Kamala Harris, because she wasn't coming amongst us with nothing. And that's why she didn't get elected. You know? So, it's like we got to you know, snap up out of the deep ignorance that we find ourselves in. And let's start coming with a solid solution with our own common collective ideals to do something about our situation in this nation. You know? And as far as with that said, I mean, you know, we need to also understand too that we cannot keep allowing people to immerse themselves in our culture like that. You know, we made a mistake even letting that white boy, Eminem, become immersed in our culture with the help of some soul brothers. Matter of fact, from my hometown of Detroit, that helped him got to where he's at. Now look at him. He ain't even did nothing. He ain't even did half of what Master P did for his hometown in New Orleans by putting other artists from New Orleans on his No Limit label, allowing them to make money. He ain't did nothing like that for those soul brothers that's into the rap industry in Detroit. That half of them is even way better than him, lyric wise, you know. So I mean, it's like you know, we let them make millions off it, off our culture. Like I said before, earlier when I began this live, you know, and then pissed on us in different ways. You see what I'm saying? And it's the same thing with these other people I just mentioned. You know, we got to stop that. You know, I've seen it even on the street level when it comes to even the so-called gang culture. And I want to say this. I'm not going to say this. I'm not going to say that. I'm not saying this because I glorify gang culture, because that's a part of our destruction. So I'm not going to glorify something that's destructive. But I will make a point, though, that when it comes to street gangs, like the Gangster Disciples, the Vice Lords of Chicago, the Crips and Bloods, now you got white boys, you got Hispanics calling themselves Crips and Bloods, and Black Gangster Disciples and Vice Lords. And those was started based off of oppression from the racists back in the 60s and even going way further back, I think, to the 40s, you know, until generations later when they start turning on each other with the violence and all that kind of stuff, you know. But they started eventually allowing white people and these Hispanics to join these gangs. But you don't see these Hispanics or these racial white supremacist groups, even in the prison walls, inside the prison walls, allowing blacks into their circles like that. But we would go our way to allow them to immerse in our circles like that. And I think that's a matter of self-disrespect. And just disrespect, period, to other soul brothers and sisters who's into that type of stuff. You see? And cause see, I got to bring the negative in with the positive on everything we do that we've allowed them. Look, you got an expert right here on the live with me, brother Taalib Ibn Rad, who is a member of the Nation of Islam. He know better about it more than I do. How they've allowed white Caucasians into their organization. After all these years, we're calling them the devil. You see what I'm saying? And the same thing happened in the organization I once was claiming to be with, which was the Nubians. And they started doing the same thing after so many years of calling the Caucasian the devil. But then you turn around and allow these people to become members of your organization. Now, I haven't heard the Moorish Science Temple of America doing that yet. You know? You know? So, I mean, come on, man. Have some type of self-respect. You know? Have some type of self-respect is what I'm saying. But see, if we took control of the state, you know, we could put the brakes on a lot of this stuff eventually. You know? Because then it'll be in our own court to do what we want to do without being restricted. You see?